Welcome back to the channel, welcome back. So we had Aquib Fiaz versus Murphy. I'm not sure about Murphy, what Murphy's first name is, right? So I'm just going to call him Murphy for now, that being the family name. So look, these two guys are local guys from Manchester. I actually know Aquib Fiaz personally. His brother's actually a friend of mine. And this fight was pretty interesting. I mean, it's a fight that I was interested to see. Aquib Fiaz coming off of a loss. I believe it was about a year ago he came off of a loss. 13 wins, 2 knockouts he has. Murphy has 13 wins, no knockouts. Murphy being from Salford, Manchester, and Aquib Fiaz being from Oldham, right? So it is kind of a local derby. A few people were a bit confused. I watched a few videos earlier on this post-fight reaction, and a few people don't understand. Murphy is the home fighter, right? Murphy is from Salford. They fought at the AO Arena. Murphy's gym is probably not more than 2 miles away from the AO Arena. Aquib Fiaz is from Oldham. Oldham is at least 6 to 7 miles away up the road from the AO Arena. Still not being that far, but, you know, Murphy's home crowd probably... You know, he's a home fighter. Both of them are home fighter. I don't know whatever you want to call it. But Murphy actually resides closer to the AO Arena and actually is in Manchester, where Oldham is part of Greater Manchester. It sits on the outskirts of Manchester, the city that is. So it was a back and forth fight, a good fight. Murphy being pretty rangy, taller than Aquib. You know, watching the fight, obviously knowing Aquib, I was there in front of the TV. Go on, do this, do that, you know, trying to get the... I was screaming for Aquib to get his double jab going, which he did eventually, and it kind of helped him, you know. He was standing off of Murphy in the early rounds. I was like, that's not a good sign. I want to see him close the distance, so Murphy couldn't use his reach. Murphy used his reach pretty well. I was pretty impressed with Murphy. I'm not too familiar with the fella. First time I've heard of him, but I was impressed with his work. I was impressed with his determination, his fighting spirit, his grit. He stuck it out right to the end. He's a good fighting lad. And I will be interested to watch him fight the next time he pops up. I'll be following his career. These two guys are domestic level guys, I'd say. No disrespect. Not saying that they can't improve and reach out and get further in the lightweight division that they're fighting in. At the moment, I'm sure like if they keep active... both guys are pretty young. I mean, Aquib's, I believe, 25, 26, something like that. Still a bit of time to go. And, you know, I like to see something in the future of these guys. Both of these guys, I believe, are capable of winning a British belt, right? So that's where you got to start off, winning a Lonsdale belt, and then eventually trying to move up to maybe European and maybe an interim status. I want to see these guys climb the ladder. And maybe, look, these two guys had a good fight. It kind of perked up the crowd because two of these guys are from Manchester, being, you know, a local area to Manchester. And I'd like to see these guys go forward and continue their career, try and get as far as they can. And maybe we can get a rematch out of these guys later on. I don't want to see an immediate rematch, even though Aquib Fiaz won on the cards, right? Some people felt like Murphy won. It was a very close fight. If it had gone either way, I wouldn't really complain. I felt I had Aquib slightly winning the fight because he was landing the cleaner punches, the more power punches. There were more significant strikes, I'd say, where Murphy was landing, but a lot of his work was like the power wasn't there. Murphy just needed a bit more power to actually try and disrupt Aquib's work, but the power wasn't there. All right, so. It made for a good fight. And as I said, I'd like to see a rematch between these two guys at some point. As the fight progressed, it got more interesting. And it's a good watch. It was a good watch. I'm not going to lie. It's a good undercard fight. And I'd like to see something more from these guys in the future. I'll be following them, both of them up from Manchester, where I reside at the moment. So I'll be following them closely. And who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe one day we could be talking about one of these two guys in a title fight, a domestic title fight, right? Anyway, look, enough said. Do us a favour, smash the like button, hit that bell for notifications so you get all the new latest videos.